everyone, today is ProdigyRex. Today I'll be reading Space Penguins Planet Peril by L.A. Courtenay. In case you don't know, Space Penguins is a great series with about 4 different penguins that were abandoned by NASA and went into space. This is actually the 5th book in the series, so if you want me to read other books, let's get started. Okay, let's get started. The title is Space Penguins Planet Peril. Okay, let's get started. Meet the Space Penguins. The edition I have is currently in meters, but if you want, I'll read it with height. Captain James T. Krill, Emperor Penguin, height 3 feet 7 inches, or 1.10 meters. Looks: yellow ears and eye pouches, and noble bearing. Likes: swordfish minus the sword. Lab test results: showed leadership qualities in fish challenge. Guaranteed to keep calm in a crisis. First mate once upon a time. Beaky waiter, now known as Dark Waiter. Once Emperor Penguin, now part robot. Height: 1.22 meters or 4 feet. Looks: shiny metal black armor with evil laugh. Likes: prawn pizza and ruling the universe. Lab test results: cheated at every challenge. Guaranteed to cause trouble. Pilot with no sense of directions. Walkie waddle. Rockhopper penguin. Height: 45 centimeters or 1 foot. I think it was 1 foot 5 inches. Looks: long yellow eyebrows. Likes: mackerel ice cream. Lab test results: fastest slider in toboggan challenge. Guaranteed to speed through an asteroid belt while reading charts upside down. Security officer and head chef Fuzz Aldrin. Little blue penguin. Height: 33 centimeters or 1.1 feet 1 inch. Looks: small with fuzzy blue feathers. Likes: fish fingers in cream and truffle sauce. Lab test results: showed creativity and aggression in ice carving challenge. Guaranteed to defend ship, crew, and kitchen with his life. Ship's engineer Splash Gordon. King penguin. Height: 95 centimeters or 3 feet 1 inch. Looks: orange ears and chest markings. Likes: squid. Lab test results: showed solved ice cube challenges under 4 seconds. Guaranteed to fix anything. Loading. Can we take off yet? I am Ice Cube, the mega brainy computer guidance system for the tuna fish. But even though I have a brain the size of a moon, I can't fix the dent on the spaceship or the cracked wings. I can't wheel the broken panels back together. I can't get the burn marks off the windscreen. Only 4 penguins and spaceships can do that. I think my surfboards that I don't have a human crew. A human crew was way too expensive to train and send to space. Penguins were a lot cheaper. And they're better at the space stuff than they might think. Last week, Rocky Waddle landed the damaged toothfish here on the planet Shore, although he meant to land on the planet Cheese next door. Captain T. Krill made the Chorus and the Cheese talk to each other for the first time in 1,000 years, despite their many differences. Splash Gordon invented the Chore to Cheese translating machine that made this possible. Buzz Aldrin introduced the noble sport of fish wrestling, which had turned into a major craze on both planets. The Chores and the Cheeses are now spending their time swapping fish wrestling stories, which is good because the Chores had just invented an enormous bomb that they were thinking of dropping on Cheeses. Phew. We've been stuck on Trunk for over a week now, and the Space Penguins, as they make the Toonfish space ready, get after extremely close shaped with the mechanical meteors of the planet Croesus during our last adventure. You could say I was bored during the waiting, except the computers can't really feel bored. By the way, I've counted all the stars in the universe twice now. I wish they'd hurry up. Chapter 1, An Oozy Invitation. Captain Crow paced up and down the main cabin of the Tunafish, listening to the intergalactic space report. It was quite difficult to hear because of Ice Cube's counting the stars out loud at the same time. 2,303 stars. Ice Cube droned 2,304 stars. The captain turned up the volume. Two well-known individuals have been captured following a bold attempted robbery on the planet Croesus. The Croesian security forces turned the full might of the tickling stick of justice on the suspect and forced a confession in only 5 minutes. Dark Wader, lately of the Death Star Fish Space Station, and Andrew Skyporker, Emperor of the planet Saucers, are now looking forward to years of imprisonment in the Croesian high security jail. In further news, the number of unusual alien species going missing from the planet T section of the universe has been climbing. The door of the engine room clings shut as Splash Gordon, the Tunafish engineer, comes into the cabin, wriggling his penguin-sized spaceship at head. Splash weighing up his goggles and Splash's forehead with forehead. Then he twanged his goggles back down and then wiped his forehead again, because his goggles had been some way up there before. I heard some excellent news, Splash, Captain Crow beamed. Beaky and Wader and his pink-faced chum won't be chasing us for a while. They're facing prison sentences on the planet Croesus. I'm glad to hear it, said Splash. Said they almost destroyed our ship. How's the Tunafish looking? The captain said. Can we fix it yet? Splash continued out the Tunafish's problems on his flippers. He quickly moved to his webbed toes, as penguins only have 2 flippers. The nose cone was badly dented, the fins were covered in stress cracks, the propulsion system wasn't propelling properly, the boosters were bursting, and the windshield was still a mess. But you fixed all that, the captain said, right? I reshaped the nose cone, rocked and replaced the fins, and sorted out the propulsion system. Wrecking while came into the cabin just behind Splash. We're going to fly out here so fast that we might leave my eyeballs behind. The boosters and the windscreen, the captain checked. A small blue penguin in a spacesuit slid into view on the outside of the windscreen, dangling up and down. He had a cloth and some windscreen polish to the penguins inside the cabin. Those boosters are boosting, and the windscreen is shinier than your beak, Captain. Fuzz's voice said through the ship's intercom. All systems go, Splash continued. Excellent, the captain said. The question is, all systems go where? A nice holiday? A nice holiday? Rocky suggested. There's a little planet tucked away in section V of the universe that looks very penguin friendly. According to the Encyclopedia Galactica, the temperatures are low and oceans are full of fish. Sounds perfect, the cat said. What are we waiting for? The problem is, Rocky added, the fish are 3 times bigger than us. We might have a little trouble catching them and eating them. Ah, the captain said. 2,337 stars, droned Ice Cube. 2 billion. The computer's voice suddenly changed. Incoming message, Captain. Stand by. Captain Crow picked his ears. The fuzz wallowed into the cabin and pulled off his helmet. The space penguins wasn't. The space penguins listened, and as the space penguins listened, as the IQ read out the message. Chief Hubba Blubba of the planet Spurge wishes to invite the space penguins as guests of honors to a feast to welcome the grand opening tomorrow. We can't wait to meet you because you're so famous. We are sure to love our planet. End of message. Grand opening of what? said Splash. A tin of tuna would be nice, said Fuzz. A feast! My clowns figure I like being famous. Ice Cube, Captain Chris, what can you tell us about Spurge? Splurge is a small dark green planet orbiting an old red sun in Section T of the universe. It's a habitat called Oozes. I understand that they are dark green as well. Hubba Blubba recently got permission from the Intergalactic Planning Office to buy a huge leisure complex. It features a cosmic golf course, a zoo, several restaurants, and some top-of-the-line slam skiing facilities. I like to see the restaurants. For instance, can we? It's awesome, Rocky said. Can we go? Thanks for the information, said Rocky. Very helpful. The captain said. That explains the invitation. They must be opening a new leisure complex. I must say that's very tempting. What about this Hubba Blubba? Is he friendly? So I said, of course he's friendly, Rocky said. And it's surprised only friendly aliens give out invitations. Not necessarily, said Slash. Don't worry too much, said Crow. He spooned his wet tongue. I like the sound of the sky skiing myself. I think we should pop by. On it like a toboggan, said Rocky while looking toward the flight panels. Ice Cube, set the coordinates for Splurge. It's time to party! Chapter 2, Slime Time. Ice Cube was right, Fuzz said, peering through the windscreen as Rocky steered the tuna fish into the atmosphere of the Splurge green. It is dark green. Splurge hung below them like a giant rolled up boogie, except for the places where the sun let and turned it brown. It was green all over it. It wasn't the prettiest planet Space Penguins had ever seen. Clear for landing. To the fish came a voice over the intercom. Welcome to Splurge, Planet of Fun. We'll be the judge of that, said Splurge. Whoo, said Rocky in alarm. Finally, the two fish straight at the wheels, skid sideways on the landing strip. The spaceship spun around a couple times and slid to a stop. The space penguins smoothed their feathers and peered out of the rocky-looking building at the end of the strip. Bring bop, bring bop, bring bop, bring bop, bring bop. What's that sound? said Captain Krill. Asked Captain Krill. Oozes trumpets, said Ice Cube, the traditional instrument of the Splurge. The Space Marines looked more closely. The welcoming committee of dark green ooze was sitting by the rocky building, holding fluff-looking tubes above their heads and whirling them around. Bring blue, went the ooze's trumpets. They sound exactly like those elephant seals that lived right next to us in the zoo, for instance. They were always breaking the wind on their ice floe. Exactly, Rocky said. They made a fart sound with one flipper. Everyone on their best behavior, said we must, as the others sniggered, we must defend our hosts. The crew climbed out of the tuna fish and tried not to slip on the slimy landing surface. They waddled carefully over to the meeting ring. The largest ooziest ouzo held his long green and yellow arms toward them. Welcome, he screamed. Welcome, Captain Thrill, Rocky Puddle, Fuzz, Alchin, and Splat Gordon. I'm Hubba Blubba, Chief Ooza of the Planet Splurge. I can't believe I'm meeting you at last. Fuzz nudged the tuna fish. I'm going to call you Rocky Puddle from now on. Getting a bit fat on the beak all can, Rocky teased back. It's Splash, not Splat. And Captain T. Krill. I apologize, said Hubba. What's the T stand for? Trustworthy, said Captain Krill. The Space Marine looked at Captain in amazement. He had never told him that. Anyway, said Captain Krill, blushing a little, then thank you for inviting us, you ooze this. The Hubba Blubba bowed, and Captain Krill bowed back. It's not easy for penguins to bow, especially when their feet are slippery on a slippery surface. The penguin that happened tipped forward completely. The Space Penguins rushed to help back to his feet. Rushing was a bad idea, and they slipped all on as well. Whoops, said Hubba Blubba, you can find the story easier than walking, aiming on Splurge with those tiny legs. You have to enter Fort Gunday to make up our feast. Blah, 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 went the ooze trumpets. Hubble walked into the rocky building, followed by the welcoming committee. The Space Penguins lay on their tummies and whizzed around, along with their flippers. "I'm starving," Rocky said as they zoomed down the dark corridor. "Me too," said Fuzz. The corridor ended in a large green cavern decorated with twinkling red lights. The Space Penguins had gotten up such a good speed along the slime floor that they almost crashed into the Hubble Blubber as he stopped at the cavern mouth. Chief Oozer spread his long yellow and green arms. "What, Oozers?" he cried. "Let us welcome our guests, the famous Space Penguins." Long tables with clapping oozers stretched before the penguins. The sound of wet applause and farting oozer trumpets echoed around the cabin. "This place is growing on me," said Fuzz at the entrance behind the house, "like mold," said Splash darkly. Hubble Blubber led the penguins up to a long table and raised the platform. "You are the first non-oozer to see the work done on Splurge," she said cheerily. "After the feast, I'll show you around our paradise planet and help yourself to some spurcane stew." The Space Penguins looked around doubtfully at large bowls of sticky green stuff in the middle of the table. Speckled green stew looked and smelled like rotten snot. "We don't have spoons," Rocky said, "or plates," they had said. Hubble Blubber roared with laughter. "No one ever told me that the Space Penguins were this so funny." He dipped a yellow and green finger in the Spurge store. There was a horrible slurping sound and a penguin's astonishment. The level of the stew in the big bowl began to sink. "I always thought that was a myth that creatures in the universe use their mouths to talk and eat," said Hubble Blubber as his finger stooped at the green gold like a straw. "But I see it all the time in my spacesuit. It's such peculiar habitats. It's fantastic. Eat up." "I'm actually still quite full from breakfast," said Fuzz. Caterpillar politely dipped his finger in the space stew and sat there for making gimme noises. Hubble Blubber drained the rest as he lifted his finger and shivered and then went, "Bob!" "Did your finger just burp?" said Splash. "Double awesome," said Rock said. The farting trumpets rang out. There was suddenly a loud whoop, something from the cabin roof. "Let the entertainment begin," announced Hubble Blubber. 4 slimy acrobats slithered through the hall on long red ropes high as they went. One of them wore a crown with sparkling green fins. "Woohoo!" they cried as they spun through sprint. Splash quietly whipped out a bit of slime off his beak. Hubble Blubber caught her. The one with the crown is Glog, he informed. "The Gloggists are our finest acrobats in Splurge. Look at them fly." The Gloggists bounced on each other's shoulders. They spun on each other's heads. They made the audience gap with amazement as they bent their slippery bodies into impossible shapes. "Not bad," muttered Fuzz as the last of the goose took their bows and slid away in flying boogats, are you saying? "We are now Taurus Plunge's many delights and by Gooder," said Hubble Blubber. "Gooders are the vehicle of Oozer design. You'll like them. Follow me." Chapter 3: A Taurus Plunge. Outside, the Space Penguins found a green saucer-shaped vehicle hovering over the garden. "This," said Hubble Blubber, "is a Gooder." "How does it stay up?" said Splash, appearing underneath. The gall of stinking green oozer smoke exploded from the Gooder in 3 clusters, nearly knocking Splash off backwards. "Oozer gas," said Hubble Blubber, "100% natural. We extract it from our bodies and store it in tanks. We are a resourceful species." He squeezed the Gooder out beside the Space Penguins who were feeling as green as the oozer gas. With another fall, the Gooder rose into the air. The Splurgers were rolled behind them, green and slimy as the Gooder veered toward a range of mountains. "The mountains of mush," said Hubble Blubber. I went below. "Scamsky is very sporty on Splurge." Hubble Blubber explained how it worked. "You went to the top of the mountain and then zoomed down your back head first. Because you couldn't see which way you were going, you had no idea you might bumble. It can be wonderfully dangerous." "Can we have a go?" said Rocky eagerly. No time passed. Oza's hold the intergalactic speed record for speed study, 233 zoom kilometers per hour. And down there you see our cosmic golf course. The Vegas look down the spare dome behind them. A couple of oozes with clouds floated and spun in small circles around. Sometimes hitting a balls through the holes, and sometimes not. The way below the parent can see the two fish besides them. And four gun day. At the good about one more time and towards the great glass dome. Wow, it's so colorful. The Space Penguins admire the blue waters, the yellow and red flowers, and the bright green trees. The pink elevated the pathway and a large white iceberg at the heart of the dome. My spacesuit, said Hubble Bubba, proudly as the Gouda glided overhead. And I've spent my life collecting the animal wonders of the universe. I even have a wang fang. What's a wang fang? Asked Fuzz. One of the most dangerous creatures in the cosmos. Can we go inside? Said Captain Crow. If we can't try to Skype scan, I'd love to slide down the iceberg instead. Of course, promised the Oozer Chief. But first we have the work to do. Something that only the Space Penguins help me with. Rocky peered into his eyeballs. You picked the right guys, black and white, full of might, faster than the speed of light. That's us. I'm blue, said Fuzz. Hello, crossly. Who lives on the massive iceberg on the mountain? Hubble Bubble gave a small smile. Truly some remarkable creatures, he said. Now this round of patrol is over, my water. Let's return to Fort Courtenay. As the Gouda did a big loop right around the dome, Splash noticed a banner here on large say, which read grand opening tomorrow. They splashed the ramp on the foot, but this time Hubble Bubble went past the dining cavern and toward the left narrow passage. Ring boop, ring bloop, ring bloop, went the ooze on trumpets. Guys, the Splash as he slid to their host on their bed. Something about the spacer makes me nervous. It looks brilliant, said Fuzz. Do you think those creatures that Hubble mentioned would mind having a go on the iceberg, Rocky said? I'm sure you can put them inside the cages for a while if we ask them nicely, said Captain Crow. They went along until they found a metal door that slid open and found themselves in a small circular room. Unlike the golden dining cabin, it was brightly lit and modern. Computer scripts show on the walls and the Oozer technicians show on the walls, and the Oozer technicians sat on the steel desk pressing buttons. The Oozer magicians stood outside the door in the dripping rows with the trumpets dangling from their sides. This is where I control everything in my zoo, Hubble will point toward the screen. Tell me, what is your perfect habitat? Cold, said Rocky, slippery. Penguins are simple creatures, said Captain Crow. Just give us water and a sub-zero temperature and we're happy. Just as I thought, said Hubble. Does this look like a perfect habitat you like this? The biggest tree is shown on the large iceberg in the center of the dome. Yes, said Fuzz, that's exactly the Captain Crow said. Rocky imagined getting up to speeds of at least 233 kilometers per hour down the iceberg. He could smash the intergalactic speed sliding record if he tried. Guys, we ought to go. We got that thing, remember? Let's face it, man. Stop talking tail rots, said Rocky. We haven't got a thing. Tell me, Hubble said. Well, she's dubious. What is your favorite food? Fish fingers and cream and truffle sauce, said Fuzz. We really do have a thing, said Special Lalon. Does ignore it. And your best trick is? Hubble said. I'm pretty good at juggling clams, so Rocky, as long as there's only one. Doesn't sound very entertaining. Hubble said, why would the teachers do this? Why do you want to teach us stuff? Because you're going to be the prize exhibit. It's in my new spacesuit, he explained, Hubble with a slimy smile. Too late, the penguins have realized the horrible truth. It's a trap, roared Splash. Watch out for your lives! The Oozatron's barred the exit. The trumpet in front of them suddenly looked threatening. Laser beams then crossed the roadway and burst through light, scanning the space penguins by flipping the frequency. Tummies and everything was measured in the swift rush of red and the steam around the room. Then the lasers vanished and a big red net dropped from the ceiling and tightened around the silverfish, hoisting them up in the air. Hey, blubberfish brain, roared Fuzz, struggling to get free. Put me down or risk the rage of the Fuzzmeister. I'm upside down, complained Rocky. My armors will be ruined. I told you we had a thing, Rocky. We should have run as soon as I mentioned the thing. This isn't our problem, said Captain Hamburger. It goes against every rule in the book. I don't care about rules, said Hamburger. I just care about my spacesuit, and my collection is now complete. Dear Space Penguins, I knew if I knew the switch was the best idea ever. You are the sponge in my stew, the trail in my snail. You are mine forever. Chapter 4, Captured. No matter how hard the Space Penguins struggled, they couldn't get free. The red net held them as tight as a tan sardines. A hatch flipped open in the control room and said, "You won't get away with this, Captain Crowbar." "I just did," Humble Ross retorted. "You'll be transported right through the spacesuit to that big iceberg that you admired a few minutes ago. Remember those remarkable creatures I told you? That's you. I built that habitat for you, and it's perfect, so you told yourselves. Dinner will be along shortly, so will be the instructions to teach you some decent tricks. There's nothing more boring than sea creatures that don't do tricks. See you tomorrow for the grand opening." "Slime ball!" fuzzed Bell as the penguins hoisted themselves during the evening. "Bungum! Giggle guts!" The Space Penguins whirled in the sickening as mid-air as the control room hatch disappeared from view. Then they swung and lurched toward the shape of the dome. Now they could see that they were attached to a huge green crate, almost invisible against the green slimy rocks of Fort Courtenay. The whole thing felt like a fun fair ride, only there was no fun at all. The hole opened at the top of the dome, and the Space Penguins looked like they were loaded from the top on the penguin's head. And Rocky said, the solid god, they were at the very top of the iceberg in the center of the spacesuit. The net released them. Rocky tipped sideways, landing on his belly and started sliding down the iceberg away from the rest of the crew. "Hoo!" said Gary. "See, that was brilliant," said Captain Rocky to Rocky. "We've been captured by a slimy green beast, so we're due to stay in this for the rest of your life. You call that brilliant?" Captain Crow tore his eyes away from the ice. "You're right, of course. Splash, it isn't brilliant at all. It's outrageous," Bell reported. "Luckily for us," said lifting an egg-shaped toolbox. "I had my suspicions before we landed. I tucked my toolbox under my feet when we left the toothfish. I gained into some ways of winter and us back up to the hatch again." "Whee!" said Fuzz, hurling down the iceberg. "We should probably go after him," said Fuzz. Fuzz and Captain streaked down the hill. "Oh, my hairy headlocks," said Splash, covering his toolbox and laying his belly to race under the others. The Space Penguins landed at the bottom of the iceberg, beaks almost touching the water, and picked themselves up. "I want to do it again," so Rocky. Splash was afraid of tap one foot. How exactly? Rocky wallowed speedily up the ice. He got about halfway before he came tumbling down again. "That's what I call a one-way experience," he said, brushing himself. "So the escape plan you mentioned, Splash, the thing about using your toolbox to build something by the top of the iceberg and hatch, well, I guess we can't do that now." Splash was having, "You guessed right." "So we should not slid down the iceberg in the first place," said Fuzz. "Nope," said Splash. "But it was awesome," Rocky said. "Tremendous," "Mega," said Fuzz. "Look," said Splash. A big holographic sign was projecting near the base of the iceberg. Red letters spelled out the words "Penguins, marine creatures from an unknown planet with unknown talents." Rocky tossed his eyebrows in disgust. "There's nothing unknown about my talents." "They spelled penguins wrong," and Splash. "They asked the Fuzz." "I was right," said Captain, braving his cleverness to get their attention. "We're at an icy island in the middle of the spacesuit. In order to escape, we have two options. One, swim across the water to the next island, and the next until we reach the island. No, then what?" Splash said. "We break out somehow." "What's the second option?" said Fuzz. Captain looked up at the elevator pig outside was crisscrossing the dome. "Learn to fly," he said. "What?" said others. "That could take a while," Splash said, smiling fingers. "I think the pathways for visitors are looking around as he comes. If we could just get up there and waddle all the way to the door, swimming it is. What are we waiting for?" The penguins flung themselves into the water. If there's one thing I love more than sliding, Rex said Bobby to the surface and swimming. Which way? The captain had no time to answer. A huge steel tentacle broke from the surface and followed them. Snap, snap, snap. Ow! Roared Captain Krause. One of the steel guns pulled a clump of fish out of his tail. Back to shore now! More tentacles exploded upwards, waving into the air. Captain Krause shot out of the water like a quiver ball, and then the others followed. They landed as hard as the icy ground was shaking and shaking. The penguins exchanged horrified looks. And what the flaming fish guts was that? Chapter 5, The Great Flip. I think I just died, Rock said, playing lipping on the back. Someone kicked me to clear down and lie. Ow! This stinks, Wes. Ow! Hey, no need to kick me twice. If you hadn't slid down the iceberg splash would be sorting out an escape plan at the top of the dome, shouted Fuzz. Instead, we got nearly eaten alive. I lost my balance, Rock protested. What's your excuse? The octopus figured out that was an impressive piece of technology, said Splash, changing the subject. The penguins could see nothing beneath the dark blue wires. Splash jabbed the tail. Whoosh! A great creek cross shot out one, nearly stacked his beak off. The penguins fell backwards in shock. The captain crew got to his feet for the second time and rubbed the bald patch on his tail. We need to think, he said. A gooder was running towards them. Escape is impossible, boomed the female Uzo over the gooder's feature. Enter the water again and the cloudboard will rip you to shreds. The hatch in the gooder's belly opened and the bucket was lowered down and had an iceberg in a clink. Fish fingers and cream and truffle sauce. Go to the bucket. Fish fingers and cream and truffle sauce, gasped Fury inside the bucket. I hate fish fingers, sobbed Rocky. You should have asked something we all like, the mackerel ice cream. Or squid, said Swift. Or swordfish, minus the sword, said Captain, minus the sword. But left them to figure after wondering why he smelled just around the beak. But it looks like they're basically spongy and school covered in crumbs and white slime. Now a long thin plane lowered down the hatch, and the ooze with black and green crab bounced on top, holding a box in their arms. Greetings, said Uzo, putting down the box. We have a lot of work to do. You're the acrobat from the feast, Skunk said. Glog. You're great, Fuzz said. You know for a flying fish guard. Glog gave a slippery bow. Get into your slimy scooter and buzz off, said Captain Krill. The other man was shocked. Flying fish case, Captain, that's a bit rude, said Rocky. I apologize, Captain Krill, but I'm extremely angry about all this. There's no point complaining, said Glog. You're here to stay. I'm here on Chief Uzo's order to teach you some tricks. Tricks will make your life more fun. Tricks will get you food. Tricks is the key of happiness in the zoo. Now, you will do what I say, or I'll throw you into the cloudboard. Are we clear? The penguins eyed the water. They could see the tentacles of the cloudboard waving beneath the clouds. Others clear the ice cubes. Splash. As Doug opened the box, pulled out some juggling balls, a long rope, and 4 frill neck outfit. These are your costumes, said Glow. They were perfectly designed and will fit you perfectly. Put them on. But the dresses, said Rocky, and the pink and sparkly, said Fuzz. I was 7 clockboard. Oh, Glock said, began in a loud voice. Put the freckles on, team, ordered Captain Cruz as the water rippled in on this man. The penguins reluctantly did what they were told. Chief Uzo said that one of you could juggle. So Rocky picked up one of the juggling balls and threw it a couple times. He dropped it almost straight away. Practice makes perfect. So Glock, now the rope is for skipping. She demonstrated, covering the rope with slime. She dusted the rope. Give it a go, Titch. Fuzzy, what bright red with rage. Call me that again, I'll throw you into the cogboard. Ignoring him, and Blog unhooked the plank and still hovering on the goober, then using the custom mat as a pivot, she was on a seesaw, marked right here, you squiddling. Blog came up to the seesaw. I want someone to jump on the other side and point out the captain, the fat one. Captain Crow looked around for a fat penguin. You, Captain, cigarette. No, said Captain Crow. I was fiercely out. I was sent on board. I'm only doing this because I have no choice, grumbled. He walked the end of the seaside and then ping. Ping! Going the backflip and landed on the ice with a slap them when you do a water ball on the ground. The penguins were splattered inside. The great flips like long your turn. Never! So no way, Stingray Rock said. I think we should have a go, said Captain Crow thoughtfully. The spaceman stared there, the why sun was changing the two. Go, so thank you for the instructions and we'll practice until we're perfect. If you get this right, half of love will reward you. Listen, please, and you'll get extra helpings of split and stew for breakfast. She added, as the glowing winds turned up, the house shut and jetted off and cloud steam gas. The four spacemen ripped off the pretty costumes as fast as they could. She said, "You're insane, Captain." It's a fun skill. Why did you say we practice? We didn't even say we're muffled over. I said, get it? The great flip is about to be the great escape. I said, if we can get it ready, we can flip ourselves over the water and over the cloudboard to get to the next island. Wow, Smasher, why didn't I think of that? The penguins patted on each Captain Crow on the back and high flipping each other. And Captain Crow gave a frown. I'm not fat, he said. Chapter 6: Battle with the Cloudboard. The penguins took to practice the great flip in order of size. Rocky flip fuzz, splash flipped Rocky, Captain Crow flip splash. Then they practiced flipping each other in twos and threes. After a particularly high flip, Rocky accidentally knocked over a surveillance camera mounted on the wedge. Good riddance, said Fuzz, waving the triplets to come bumping and sink. Now let's see if you can do the three of you at the end and me doing the flipping. So it can happen. This took a lot of practice. Then they skill bent their flippers half and twisted their toes and somersault over. Finally, they flopped on the ice and took a break. They were starving by now and forced themselves to eat some of the horrible fish fingers. There's a really weird creature on the jungle island opposite, so Splashy said, cautiously moving around the tree. Seriously, it's blue with a head like a balloon. Well, they must be thinking, who are those handsome creatures on the iceberg? I wish I looked like them, Mark said. Hubble probably kidnapped them as well. He frowned. Remember the intergalactic space report where I was saying that creatures were going missing in this section of the universe? Old Hubble Blub Chops is one slimy customer, said Fuzz, as Chemical finished his fish finger and waved his beak with his flipper. We'll put the seesaw as close to the water as we can, and I'll flip you guys if we want. Who's gonna flip you, Cap? Don't worry, I have a plan. Fuzz climbed on Rocky's shoulders and Rocky climbed on Splash's shoulders. They bounced carefully as Captain Crow took a long wild jump and jumped. The three penguins did 3 perfect somersaults over the water and threw it to the other side. The cloudbird didn't stir. The man said, "We did it!" So he said, "Rock hopper over. What's your plan, Captain?" "I'm gonna fly." And Captain Crow said, shout back. He moved to the pavilion and then turned his seesaw into a ramp. He walled up as fast as the ice as he could, laid his belt and pushed harder with his flipper, and reaching the ramp, zoomed up and soared over the water with wings and strap, but he didn't soar far enough. Blump. The copper exploded for the water. The captain started swimming, aiming for his life, struggling between his steel tentacles. "We're coming!" Crow roared the Fuzz, leaping over the churning water. "Hold on!" Rock said as he dived after him. Splam! The tentacle missed the splash by millimeters. Slam! The cloudbird whacked Fuzz like a cricket ball, sending the little penguin into the air. "Try that again, I'll turn you into cloudboard sloop!" roared Fuzz, letting back into the water with a plop. The penguins darted among the cloudboard's dashing tentacles. The water heaved and boiled. The cloudboard grabbed in every direction, tying itself into an enormous knot. The clouds were so horribly tangled that the tentacles churned furiously, but the penguins were out of reach. The triumphant penguins would leap onto the shore of the jungle island. "That was awesome!" gasped Rocky. "We knotted the cloudboard." It may unknown itself faster than we think, Karen said. Get waddling, crew. We have to cross the island and get to the water on the other side before it's too late. The jungle habitat was horribly hot. Like 5 minutes, the penguins were sweating. It was nearly impossible to waddle through the thick undergrowth. I feel like a soggy hanky. Puff, moisture dripped from his beak. Can we stop? You know we can breathe. He saw something crashed in the undergrowth, something tall and thin and blue, with long toes and balloon-shaped head. It stared at the space penguins with big dark eyes. The space penguins stared back. Shivering shrimps, so Rocky said. It looks smaller from our iceberg. Eek! The balloon making a funny sound. Eek! Did his head just get smaller? So eek! When the balloon bleeds, it shrinks some more. I wish my head did that, said Rocky in my relief. So do we, Rex said. Your head's way too big. The holographic sun shimmered above the tree. Aree, said Rafa. A rare mammal for Archeron 3. Aree can inflate his head and fly short distances. The balloon creature's head was tiny now. It bent over and nibbled gently at the vegetation by the penguin's feet. I guess you're in a Aree, said Captain. Smiled Aree. It seemed like, do you want to escape with us? The Aree's head started inflating again. It was so full of air that the creature started rising off the ground. Grab its feet, said Captain Krill. They might float us to the next elevated walkway. He pointed to the pink pipe stretching above its head like a strand of bubble gum from one side of the dome to the others. The penguins leaped up and gasped at the creature's long toes with their flippers. Hang on tightly as they could, and they let the Aree gently lift off the ground. But the Aree didn't have enough air to reach the pathway. It sailed down again over a high fence and divided the jungle island in half. A land on the other white beach on the other side. The penguins gazed sadly across the water in front of them. In the distance, they could see a great patch of land lying next to the glass domes of the dome. Eek! said Eek apologetically. You did your best, Splash said, heading towards himself. Aree can only fly short distances, as it said on the sign. Looks like we have to swim across. I hope the clawboard is still tied up. Ouch! said Rocky as he stepped into a hole concealed by an undergrowth. Ouch! said Rocky as he stepped into a hole concealed under the undergrowth. Give us a flipper. I'm stuck. Pom-poms, said Scarecrow as a narrow hole appeared. Redford mammal from Pieces. Amber pieces that live in a silly place to put burrows, said complained as the captain tugged for free right under my feet. A dozen small, furry red creatures scuttled all at once. They surrounded Splash. A dozen small, furry creatures came scuttling out of front. They gathered around Splash. Aren't they adorable, said Splash, leading the short one. We can't leave them behind, Captain. We'll give them a ride across the water. But what about the Aree? Its head should keep it afloat, Splash, like airbands do. Splash, Captain Krill and Rocky held out their flippers for the pom-pom to climb aboard. Two pom-poms sat on Rocky's head, clinging to his eyebrows. Ready, teams? Captain Krill, prepare to dive in. Let's go. Chapter 7, The Wang Fang. Hubble Blubber just finished a large supper. He glided into the control room, full of good humor and spirited stew, enjoying the sight of his newly captured penguins. The splash was showing the penguins' eye was dark. He tapped between the two. Where's my penguin camp? It got broken when they were practicing a trick, said the Uzon technician operating the cameras. We're sending someone to fix it in a minute. Send them now. I want to see those penguins playing, eating, doing tricks. A sudden movement on the nurse caught Hubble Blubber's eyes. The slimy alien hung over the side of the four penguins. A dozen pom-poms and an Aree swimming away from the jungle island. Where's the clawboard? How had these penguins got so far from the iceberg without being captured? Why are they stealing his Aree and his adorable pom-poms? Let's have the penguins get until the next water splash, he said. They will activate the wipeout wave. You'll drown them if you do that, Steve said in alarm. Press the button, ordered Hubble. No one escapes my spacesuit before my grand opening. The Space Marines were halfway into the Grey Rocky Island when the sirens began to wail. They turned their heads and stared at me. In horror at the great wall of water racing behind them as they swim. Tsunami! Gasped Rocky. Bless you, said Fuzz. Swim faster, shouted Captain Krill. It was too late. With a ghastly roar, the enormous wave swept them up. The penguins and the pom-poms and the Aries spun turbulent through the water. Fuzz was rehearsed to a search, riding the Aries like a jet ski. We are the Space Penguins. Hear us flap, he shouted. The pom-poms on Rocky's head were using his eyebrows as reins. 5 more were riding on the captain's back. Clinging to each other and screamed, "Splash away!" cried Splash, turning on his belly and the captain and carrying with 4 passengers on his back. With a mighty crash, the white-bound waves hurled all down onto to the Shoreline shore. The Shoreline shore. The penguins tumbled over the beach and splashed upside down on front of the big rocky wave. What a ride! Shouted Fuzz above, clapping his flippers. Eek! Said Aries. The pom-poms huddled into a tight ball. Then the upwards raft into a great windfall. That's a great trick, I said. These little guys make cave drinking look pretty lame. There was a sleigh lurch before behind the rock. The penguins looked around. What in the name of smoked salmon is that? Said the captain. A creature facing them looked like an angry 2-headed crocodile with fierce red eyes and enormous black teeth. Its black coat shimmered like slick oil. Uh-oh, said Fuzz, pointing towards the big holographic sun projector behind the rock. Wang Fang, one of the most dangerous creatures in the cosmos. The Wang Fang breathes fires and enjoys causing destruction. The sirens went quickly. The hum of loud words boomed over the loudspeaker, calling out Space Penguins. All I wanted you was to enjoy my space. You have ruined tomorrow's grand opening. As the wipeout wave failed to drown you, my wave wave will fish you off. Then I shall turn you into an iceberg, into a slime-skiing mountain. You are a big disappointment. No weedy Wang Fang can fish out the face meisters and Fuzz as the loudspeaker went quiet again. The Wang Fang roared. 2 blasts of fire exploded by the penguins' feet. The Aries exploded ahead in alarm and took off, while the penguins scattered. Do you have a plan, Sir Rocky? Look, just watch the pom-poms are getting behind the wall. They're digging the sand. A tunnel, said Flash. Flipper to attention, but we have to keep the Wang Fang busy. No problem, said Charge! He walled on at the big rocket. Then there's this somersault midair and landing onto the Wang Fang's back. The beast bellowed in outrage and belched the fire from both mouths at once. Its jaws on its head looked snapped with traps. Can't get me up here, can you? Fuzz said to Whack. Now take that bonfire breath. Whack, whack, whack. With Fuzz's little finger. The Wang Fang roared again. Flames shooting out his mouth. Rocky's armor caught alight and rushed into the water and put him out. With a sudden loss of a sparky tail, Wang Fang was flying. Caterpillar and Splash dragged Fuzz out of the way as 2 jets of fire blasted into the ground, leaving smoke holes. Rocky gave the Wang Fang a good kick. Now a mess for your mind, brows! The Wang Fang opened its mouth, prepared to blast the penguins to charcoal. The Space Penguins raced out of the way, showing their heads with their flippers as the flames scorched through them with long black streaks. Too close, gruffed Rocky. Splash lifted his body and opened the extra 2 mouths. How did you keep a hold of that? Said Fuzz. We swam through the lobby. Glue, said Splash, pulling out a catapult and lifting some jagged stone on the ground. Let's try this. Twang! The Wang Fang gave an ear-shattering shriek of pain as anger as the stone struck its head. My turn, so we're taking catapult to seal the rift. Twang! Twang! This time the stone struck the Wang Fang's eye, stumbled around and slashed his whip like a tail. Meanwhile, the Wang Fangs were digging so fast the penguins could hardly see them through the flying sand. At last, the 2 jumped into the hole and popped into the other side of the glass dome. Oh, any minute, the panted dodging. Any minute now, the prey was dodging at last. The pom disappeared in the tunnel. Now, and the Splash Plunge went first, leaping through the hole after the pom. Then Rocky and then Splash left all the camp behind the wave for a mad howl of rage. Shame they didn't make it through the hole bigger, and I have his belly got stuck halfway through. The fingers grabbed their finger on three. So Rocky, 1, 2, 3, pull! Captain Crunch sucked in his tummy. With a pop, the others pushed him through the hole. The 4 penguins collapsed in a cold puddle of slime. It felt wonderful on their singed feathers all up. They high-flipped each other and stroked the excited palms by their feet and high-flipped each other again. They were free. Chapter 8, To the Rescue. Up in the control room, Hufflepuff was in full terror. He had been watching his cloudboard, which was still out of action despite the technician's best effort. Now he was watching the one going back on the screen, and the Space Penguins were now nowhere to be seen. Good sludge in the control room word. I have come to apologize. She said with a laugh. I think the penguins used the great flip to escape their iceberg. I had no idea a trick would be used in such a hand way. Never mind that, the wave just ate them and I missed it. I want to hear the crunch of the jaws and the ungrateful penguins' heads. On the screen, the wave pierced down and shrieks in balls of fire. I can't see any bones or beak sheaths. Are you sure the wave ate them? How about atmosphere? If it didn't eat them, they must have escaped. Again, he said, but not for long. Tongues of the wingfin blasted through the hole of the doom, and the fangs hastily filled it and patted the earth firmly. The pom-poms did a huddle and explode movement in celebration. There's no way that wingfin can follow us now, works up the Ree was still floating inside the dome, skating sadly around. We forgot Ree! Splashed it. We have to go back. Yay! Said Fuzz, starting to dig again. You crazy crayfish, you Fuzz. The wingfin's still there. Hufflepuff will nab us for sure if we went inside. No one nabs the Feistmeister, so Fuzz convinced, forgetting that he had already been captured once that day. The silence going berserk. The air inside the dome was thick with glooters. All oozes report to the space zoo. Growled Hufflepuff through nearly every loudspeaker. Every single one of you. The Space Penguins escaped from the wayface and are hiding. Find them and destroy them. They think we're still inside, or a bunch of idiots. What about Reese? I didn't say anything. Captain Crow looked down at a slimy dripping green pot. The others were in slimy and green that he was. I have a plan, said Captain. We aren't 4 famous intergalactic heroes for nothing. Just do not to tell you. Do you really think that this is going to work, Captain? Scooping up a fearful slimy spear in his face. The Space Penguins covered them in much slime as they could. If they squinted, they looked like ooze. They were roughly the same size as the Grenadiers, at least apart from Fuzz. It's all about the attitude, said Fuzz. He did a little fart and smell. Got it, said Fuzz, adding the spell of his own. We're going to slide through the main entrance, pretending where no Oozer answered the chief's summons to hunt the penguins down. Then we're gonna slide out against the area, and any other creatures don't want to escape. You got it. What can go wrong? Cheered Fuzz cheerfully. Hundreds of Oozer were hurrying through the main doors. The Space Penguins slept along through the slime into right back to the sluice again. You lot, shouted Oozer guard on a pink halfway, waving a green arm at the Space Penguins. Search over there. He pointed towards some lava pools on the opposite side of the dune. This is no place for children, he added, and looked at Fuzz. Chief Oozer didn't say everyone, Captain Crow said, hustling Fuzz away. That big boozy called me a child? I'll bake him like a clam. I'll roast him like a sea bass. Oozer were moving in all directions along the windy pink paths along the islands of the space zoo. The water's red searchlight swept around the water and the island front. The cloudboard still out of the action as they passed through the great iceberg. You can see them lying in the water. Eek! That's a race! Says Splash escaped from the Wingfing's island. That's because I taught it how to swim, and Fuzz boasted. The arena was climbing along, using its head to float. Eee! It cried. Eee! It cried. Answering the E, the creatures started leaping into the water. Things with 10 legs and 100 wings. Beasts that looked like if they were made out of clouds. Tiny critters with ping-pong eyes of creatures were massive monsters with no eyes at all. The ones with wings were helping the ones without, lifting them out of the water and dropping them onto the pink planks among the panicking oozes. The creatures were running and sliding and whizzing towards the wide entrance doors. The chaos was perfect. Over here, Splash jumping over the waves. Are swimming along? We're here to rescue you. Fool! A stinging goon landed in the path beside the tank. Use the penguins putting a rocket. Watch them good at you refill the tank. The pilot hurried toward the cruiser marking filling station. He picked up and Lincoln marked the gas and then shut the door. A horrible thunderstorm came out. Captain Crow checked the gun on the goon. There's still a bit of gas left. Let's fish around the water and jump through. Once we do that, it should be able to reach the doors itself. The gooder was easy to fly, very stinky. The space penguins squeezed together as the rocky flew the machine off halfway down the water. Over here, Sebastian. To the horror, Ari was almost back at the Wing Things Island. After it! Second, we're seriously low on gas, Captain. We have a mission. And so, Captain, we're going to complete it. Rocky roared after the Ari as it rocked down the water on the island's rocky shore. The Ari looked up as the penguins approached. Eek! The Ari scooted and flinging its head and rising to meet them, but out of gas, Mike said, as the goose exploded and sank into the white face wing jaw. Sorry guys, looks like it's barbecue time. Chapter 9. Glug goes glug. The wing thing lunged with terrible fiery roar. The flame burst across the goose range and slammed clothing the vehicle against fire. The two gas torches exploded, sending the goose shooting back up into a massive wind. Everything's under control, Access shouted as the wind flew. Woohoo! Cried Fuzz as just one sputtering third fuzz as the flame go around in a circle and flew area through an open cab door and straight into the burning vehicle hole towards the nearest walkway. Hold tight, he said. The gooder bounced down the walkway and Uza's jet dived out into the water behind the speeding vehicle and skidded and skipped along. And finally, it smashed into the filling station and closed behind the doors. The Space Penguins pulled the squid out of the path and hurried themselves behind the remains of the Kusa as the goo exploded into a giant red gas bomb. Ba-boom! The noise and the smell were horrendous. The creature zoomed and flapped and crawled and passing the vehicle's burning remains. Ooze guards were running around helplessly, trying to herd the creatures back inside the zoo and shut the doors, but they were outnumbered. Bring boo. The penguins saw a familiar pair of green and yellow eyes as they raised above the penguin crowd. Team Uzo was standing with Glog and his trumpets, looking horror at the chaos. My space zoo! Wailed Humble Below. It's ruined! Time to leave, Rocky said. And most of the slimy disguises dripped off. About any minute. Put a green finger at them. It's them, she gasped. Now? Just kidding. Just try to catch them glogs and cast us glog challenge. The alien acrobat sprang into the air and went blur on the penguin. She sped towards the penguin like a breaking slap machine. Ninja penguin! And shouted Fuzz. He leaped into the air and feet some longish tummy. Boing! Fuzz landed on the pathway fell into the pathway and punched into the water below. Plop! Captain Krill leaned over the side of the pathway. Just to be clear, he told the spider, I'm not fat. Maybe we should name her Glug, said Rocky. Humblebug's whole body with dark rage. Get them, he shouted. The crowd parted as the guards and the trumpeters rushed past towards the penguins. The reef floated above the surface, happily inflating and deflating its head as the penguins threw themselves into the bellies and whizzed through the doors at full speed. The moment the penguins were outside, they heaved as the great doors began to close. Also to either side, holding back the guards' arms on the other side. As Splash pulled out a wedding torch on his tube and sealed the doors. Humblebug was wet green and yellow mouth opened with an ooh whistle. Oh, I was surprised. Enjoy your captivity, blubber chops! Fuzz said as he clearly through the grass. We did it. The wing brings loads of fun. As the splash welled the doors of the space ships, the penguins were bombed by adoring pawpaws. The other space creatures had already disappeared among the rocks and the pools of sludge. The Ari flowed gently towards the cosmic golf course dome. The space penguins suspected that it was probably good at weightless golf. Stroking the pebbles, the crew of the tuna fish gazed through the walls of the spacesuit, watching the Captain Uzis rushing back and forth. A long steel tentacle suddenly burst into view, waving through around and stopping angry. Those lucky Uzis, the combo untangled itself. I hope that ruined acrobat is still in the water, said Captain Crow. I'm dying of starvation, said Rocky, and my eyeballs need a wash. Let's go back to the tuna fish for the ice bath and a bite to eat first. One for all, and all for fish. P.S. Nobody panic, shouted Humbleblow. This is all under control. Hundreds of oozes ignored him and kept panicking. Humbleblow turned to Glug, who was dripping a little more than usual. I built a way out of this deal, of course, he boasted, in case anything like this ever happened again. Did you? Said Glug in relief. Humbleblow pressed the button on the set pad. The ladder slid down, literally into a pretty green island directly below the platform they were standing on. On that island, he said, there is a trapdoor leading straight to Fort Dudley. The escape will be much simpler for those Indian penguins think. Follow me. He gripped the ladder and slid to the bottom. For trouble, together with a few guards and trumpeters, they saw a screaming scream from the oozes on the trumpeter. Humbleblow put his slimy hands on his hips and frowned at that. What's happening? He said irritably. The white fang appeared on the green island shore and went for the short swim across the water. It looked more fierce than ever because the cloudboard had bitten its tail. It roared, coughing up big angry smokes of fire, then a bit of fire, and then lots of fire. They started gathering towards the Chief Uza. Okay, Chief Uza. Blub moving back towards the light as fast as his slime bell allowed. Everyone can panic now. And that's the end of Space Penguins Planet Peril. I hope you guys enjoyed this book and stay tuned for more Space Penguins books. I hope you enjoy and have a good rest of your day. ProdigyRex out.